Good morning, everyone. How are you this fine Friday morning? Hold on a second here. I'll get the screen share going on. So the NASDAQ throwing yet another curveball just as it was looking like it might be heading lower. The NASDAQ yesterday put in another very strong session. After a quick little decline through most of the morning, once the afternoon trading resumed here on the Eagle, you can see we had a nice trend change signal, and the market continued to rally right into the close through the Asian session, kind of topping out in the overnight, and this is where we find ourselves now with a little bit of a gap to the upside. We have had a lot of gaps these last few weeks, and very few of them have been filled. That is a little bit of a concern because gaps do fill, even though occasionally it will take a while for them to do so. They will fill. And what that kind of smacks of is a larger correction, kind of taking away the gains of at least the last couple of weeks, maybe the last month. Now, having said that, I know I've always kind of been leaning a little bit on the short side here for the NASDAQ. But I'm going to try not to get too crazy on the sell side. Rather, I'm going to try to stay with the trend as much as possible. But it's still early. The market's just opened. And so we'll stay with it here for a few minutes, see what happens. You can see here on the Hawk, we have got a lot of yellow bars printing more or less the same price level. Here on the Raptor, very similar. We've got a lot of yellow bars, a lot of sideways congestion. No signals just yet. And we are kind of favoring the short side a little bit. Let's see if we have a rule of three signal. The Eagle coming here now with a possible rule of three signal. Now, the rule of three signal is our counter trend signal. It occurs when the market is in an uptrend or a downtrend. So counter trend, first you need to have a trend. Well, we definitely have that. And we start producing signals against the band. So the band is bullish. We are producing sell signals. There's one, there's two. Oh, we did have a warning dot here for a second. I thought we were going to see number 3. But as with all counter trend signals, there's a couple of things you need. First, you need the trend. Second, you need the test of the extreme and the failure. Instead, the Eagle is coming out now with our with trend signal. That's our first signal of the day. Let's see if I can get that on a second push. All right, well, we're in here now, and what time is it? We're only about 4 minutes into the session, so this is very early. But this is our first in sync signal on the Eagle. And it does tend to have decent follow through most times, not always, of course. This is trading. There are no absolutes. The only absolute is that there are no absolutes. Okay, we'll put that on the shelf there for a moment. Let it sort itself out. Okay, so what I'm looking for on the trade now is for the buyers to come back one more time to actually prove that they're going to try to rally this market. And if we can get another rally out of here, I'll probably start to be a little bit more aggressive with my stops. So here was, no, that wasn't in sync. I guess yesterday we had to wait until the afternoon session before we got our in sync signal. Oh, no, sorry. This was our first in sync signal yesterday, but that was after a very, very long run to the downside. So it would have been a trade that you would like to exercise a little extra caution. All right, so the seller's getting a little bit stronger now, and I think what I'm going to do is look at a tighter stop. Well, I'm just going to manually bring my stop up a couple of ticks here. We'll go 29. That should do it. Okay, we do have a rule of 3 signal now. So the market may be inclined to try to break lower. We'll go 29.5. All right, are we getting any other counter trend signals? No, not yet. Got an early trend change signal here on the Falcon. Nothing really on the Raptor just yet, although the Eagle definitely looking weaker. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of buying come into the market. No, no, I'm afraid I'm gonna get tagged there for my early effort. looks as though the market looking a little bit more bearish than at the moment. And here now, our first micro-macro cross on the hawk, and you can see it's occurring right on the primary support line. We don't have the complete signal yet, just the warning dot. All right, so first micro-macro cross. And I am going to try to run this one out a little. I don't have time to adjust my trade. I would like to take partial profit on this, but what I'll do is I will open it up and we'll see whether or not if they're going to head lower. Obviously they didn't want to head higher. Let's see if they head lower. Oh, they are not playing nice today. Let's see what's going on here in the Raptor. Well, the clouds are trying to cross. We're trying to get out of this sideways range that we've been in. Unsuccessfully so far. Okay, this could be a very, very early cloud crossover. It's not going to print as a #1 signal, but we almost have the components there. The soft edges of the cloud have crossed, not the hard edges though. Okay, so we're seeing some increased selling. We are getting a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon, and as I mentioned for you Raptor traders, this would be considered an early number one signal. So just the soft edges of the cloud have crossed over. We haven't got the complete crossover yet, but if you wanted to get on board that signal, that is all the elements of a number one signal there for you. All right, well, every time they're trying to head lower, we're getting a little bit of added reaction here to the primary support line. So we really need to see the sellers step up here and give it one more go. Lots of yellow bars here again on the Hawk and the Raptor, causing a few problems, the neutrality that we're seeing there. With the Raptor as well, you can see our hard edges of the clouds are getting a little bit closer to crossing over. So if the market heads lower from here, we will get a proper number one short signal. also. I do believe the market owes me one more push lower. I don't know how much lower it can muster, but we broke some pretty serious support zones back here. We broke this one, we broke this one. Whenever the market breaks a significant support or resistance area, it tends to give you two moves in the direction of the breakout. So move number one is the breakout. Move number two, there should be one more move lower here. There should, but of course, as I mentioned before, the only absolutes in trading are there are no absolutes in trading. So we've got find ourselves in the middle of a dead neutral market here at the moment. Yeah, Steve says, Eric, please wake me up when something happens in a clear direction. I know, isn't this terrible? It is Friday, though. It's not a total surprise. The market can be a little bit lame on Friday. John is asking, good morning, Eric. Well, good morning, John. When does a cloud crossover complete? Well, technically, the entire cloud needs to cross. So what we're waiting on are the hard edges. Once those hard edges merge or cross over, then the cloud crossover is complete, and that's when we're going to generate the correct number one signal. See right here? So the clouds crossed, we got the pullback, we finally get the hard edges to cross over. There's the number one signal right there. Same thing here. The clouds cross, we get the pullback, the hard edges cross over, and we complete the number one signal. Come on. The market, as you can see, is very, very neutral at this point. Well, they're starting to annoy me, so I'm going to bring my stops in a little bit here, maybe above this last little swing high. Yeah, that looks good. We've hit it 3 times, so if it breaks again, it's probably going to be time to go. Tony's following crude oil says they had a nice little number 3 signal in crude oil. Let's see what's going on in crude. Hard edge bounce here. Is that what you're looking at, Tony? Either that or we got like a quick little or an early number 1 signal here. I'm not sure which hard edge bounce you're following. Unless you meant to say number 2 signal, a counter trend signal. Well, Tony says at 9:47. So this one right here, I guess. All right, well, at any rate, we'll put that on the shelf. Sounds like I got tagged here on both my trades. So we've got a market that's sideways. And probably going to remain that way. Oh, I see. Tony says I'm using the alternate settings. Yeah, I've got crude oil on my default settings. I should probably put it on the alternate settings because crude has been kind of slow lately. The NASDAQ, not really cooperative at the moment. Trade forecaster showing us that the trend mode is winding down. Scalp mode starting to get a little bit of traction now. And that's evidenced by what we've been seeing here on the chart. Might be a while though before we get a trade here. There's really nothing going on in the market here at the moment. Paul's asking if the cloud is compressed like that, is that indicative of a flat market? Yes, it is. The other clue, Paul, is the little clusters of yellow bars that you're going to get printing, and they're going to be printing at more or less the same price level. A lot of traders will refer to this as barbed wire for obvious reasons, and just like barbed wire, it's best avoided. I tried a couple of trades this morning hoping to see a breakout. Didn't get one, obviously. The best course of action and the most difficult, because it requires patience, is when you recognize the market is in a sideways range. Let it get out of the range. Prove that the breakout is valid. So retest the range, and then look for that signal in the new direction of the breakout. Likewise here to the short side. We need a breakout, a retest, and then a confirmation that the trade is going to continue in that breakout direction, that there's actually some strength there. Now, of course, as traders, patience is not usually one of our attributes. And it can be an expensive lesson to learn. When you're in that sideways range, you don't always see a whole lot of follow through. right, it looks as though we're going to challenge the top end of this trading range now that we find ourselves confined to. So here's the high of the morning at 58.42. We are fast approaching that. Tony says I got long in the 6E for no other reason than a NinjaTrader finger. Oh well. Yeah, because I do believe the 6E is running a little bit sideways here at the moment. It is a difficult lesson to learn. So here's the 6E. And you need to be careful too, as the North American session goes on, of course, the European session will be drawing to a close. All right, let's put that back on the shelf. We might have a little bit of a double top type thing going on here. Let's see if the Falcon's going to give me a double dot signal. Goodness knows I haven't got spanked enough trying to short this market. Let's do it again. Well, here you go, Tony. Andres is in your court. He thinks the 6E is going to head to 1.13. So currently the Euro US dollar is trading at 1.275. I guess that would be 1.1275. I forgot a 1. Come on. We have a slight breakout from the trading range. All right, here we go. This is a more pronounced breakout, so this is going to suggest that the market is going to turn bullish because we've broken outside of this trading range. Now we're going to wait for the retest, And then we're going to look for that new signal that comes with trend. And that should offer us a buy opportunity. Somebody can wake Steve up now because I think we may have a direction, a clear direction on the market. We might have to wait a little while, folks. We need a little bit of a pullback here, maybe a macro pullback here in the hawk. At the very least, a trend line touch or a trend change signal here in the falcon. A little bit of a hard edge bounce would be ideal in the eagle. And the raptor as well needs to come back a little bit. We may actually get another cloud crossover signal, a number one signal to the upside. Well, Frederick's asking here, we got a cloud crossover at around 9 a.m. Central. And he asked, should we have gotten a signal on the Raptor? So what Fred's asking at is this right here. No, that is, I know what you're looking at, but remember there's two components to a cloud crossover. So everybody, this is your number one signal now that we're going to be looking at. It's the one that prints with the number one. Cloud crossovers begin or print at the beginning of a trend. That means we have to see the clouds reverse. So here the clouds are in a downtrend and they cross over to go into an uptrend. The crossover should also be accompanied by a pullback. Sometimes a pullback occurs before, sometimes it occurs just after the cloud crossover. So those are your two components to a cloud crossover signal. Here we have the same idea. We have the clouds in an uptrend, they cross over to a downtrend. They cross over, there's a pullback, and then the signal. So if we take a look here at what happened at around 9 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Pacific, we don't have that, do we? I suppose you can make a case that the clouds crossed bullish again, but there's no pullback anywhere in here. I think if we get a signal printing now, that would be a more reliable cloud crossover signal. And this is one of these signals, unfortunately, that looks really good in hindsight. You know, you look at it and you say, gee, I should have got all over that. But when it's unfolding, it just looks like a jumbled mess. Right? At this point, I was still short. I was still trying to see if the market could test the lower end. But I think it's significant that now we're outside of this trading range. Right? See, we broke out. We're retesting. It's okay if it slips into this trading range. We just don't want to see it get too deep. You know, I don't want to see the bars trickle down and get anywhere close to halfways inside this trading range. That would kind of invalidate the breakout, because what could happen here is the market could just make a false breakout and then just keep ranging as it has been doing and just drive me crazy. But if this breakout holds, you know, if we see some support come into the market now, I think we could be okay. A macro pullback is going to see the market trade to around 58.37. The median line is sitting here at around 58.39.40. So, you know, a pullback, it is feasible. Hard edge right now on the Eagle sitting around 58.36. I would not like to see it get much lower than that. I'm not sure which way you're looking here, John. John says the cloud crossover also looks like a measured move. I think maybe what John is suggesting is this, in which case, yes, maybe. Measured moves are easy ways to try to forecast um, where the market may encounter resistance or profit taking. Well, still waiting for that pullback. Okay, we've got a macro pullback signal now here on the hawk. The Falcon also into the trend line. All right, so here's a macro pullback signal now. You should try to cover it fairly deep. Ooh, I don't know if I want to go in that heavy. Right on the cusp here between 1 and 2 contracts. Good question here from Paul. Paul's asking, does the overnight double top, is that affecting where the market is at now? You know, usually I would say no, but the markets are becoming more global. You know, it used to be the overnight had very little influence on the day session. But I'm not so sure anymore. Obviously, there was some active selling up here during the London session. But we also need to bear in mind that in an uptrend, it's the support that we're more interested in. Right? In an uptrending market will always break resistance. And yet, when the market seems to be trending up, this seems to be all that traders can focus on is, there's resistance there. I'd better not buy. They forget that in an uptrend, it's the support that we're interested in. We don't want to see support fail. Once we see support fail, then the market conditions start to get a little dicey. But so long as support seems to be holding, we're not so concerned about the resistance. Okay, so I heard my trade get filled there. What happened? I did not get tagged out. Did I get my profit target? No, I got break even. Got a break even stop out. All right, here at long last, we are finally getting our cloud crossover signal. Now you can see the cloud is complete. Again, this is a tougher trade to take because it seems like it's already underway, but hey, the trend does seem to be up. So we've had the clouds cross, here's the pullback, and now it seems to be emerging in the direction of the cloud crossover. Doggone it, where is the follow through, man? All right, I'm going to get faster with my stops here again. And I'm going to run a relatively tight stop on this trade. Tighter than I would normally do. My concern is we've had the breakout, right? Here's the breakout. We've had the breakout, we've had the retest, we've had the signal. If this fails again, we're going to have like a little itty bitty double top here. The better stop is my original stop, but I just don't feel like putting much more at risk right now. Hey, it's not looking very good here. Come on, buyers, where'd you go? Yeah, sorry, Tony. Tony says, well, I lost my tail on the 6E trade. Can I come over tonight and have dinner at your house? If this doesn't shape up in a bit, we're going to be having KD and hot dogs. Yeah, Mark says mac and cheese. Yeah, the bachelor special. Well, I'm concerned that this has turned into a little bit of a double top and we're not going to get the follow through that I was hoping for, but I will take the early stop out. This is probably a good a place as any to say I was wrong about the trade. A better spot would be below the hard edge. Our original stop was somewhere around the 58.34 area. That would give you enough staying power that you should be able to ride out any kind of pullback. But I really need to see the buyers get busy here and soon. Sure, Tony. Thanks for the suggestion. Tony asks, can you go over the profit finder since there's not much going on? What I'll do is I'll build a new chart and I'll let this trade just do what it's going to do. Okay, so here is now the NASDAQ market. Now the profit finder is a great tool. I'm going to get rid of these lines because we're just going to focus on the signals themselves. And let me load profit finder on here. This is a really good back testing tool, and I haven't had time to use it much recently. But normally what I would do is I would go through and I would kind of tweak my settings every quarter because, you know, the market environments change and sometimes the market's going to be more responsive, sometimes it's going to be more constipated, and so occasionally you need to adjust your settings. All right, what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the times here for my time zones. Oops. And I'm going to stop trading, well, we'll just stop trading at 1 o'clock. And I need to eliminate my arrows because I'm going to plot my own arrows. That's how the profit finder is going to determine what the trades are. Okay, so now what you do is you just scroll back to the beginning of your chart and you start taking your signals. So here is a sell signal, and it's helpful if you learn the shortcuts for your arrows and whatnot. So your chart markers, oh, you can't see that. Let me move that over here. Chart markers. So a down arrow, Alt F3, up arrow, Alt F2. And now the trade will initiate where the arrow prints. So I'm going to place my arrow on the hash mark. So here's a number 1 sell signal, here's a number 2 buy signal, and so you just go through and you take your trades this way. Highlight your trades. This is a non-tradable session for me. It's after the market closes. Oops, wrong arrow. I should have looked to see how many days of data I have loaded here. Oop, there was a sell signal. And I'm doing this a little quickly, as you can see. Oh, that's going to be a pretty good little run up. And I'm interested just in how the signals themselves are performing as is. No questions asked. Winners and losers alike. How many more days? Okay, I'm almost at the end. Okay, that's it. So now we're going to calculate the performance. If I took every single trade like that, I would have lost $345, gross profit $977, gross losses just over $1,300. Max drawdown $607. And so traded 46 trades. We've got essentially a 50-50 type signal here. Okay, so now we adjust our parameters and we learn how we can make our trading more efficient. So right now, let's play with our stop loss for starters. So trailing stop, I don't have a trailing stop. So let's introduce, let's say the ATR. And we'll give it a multiple of 3. And initial stop, so I did have a 10-tick initial stop. I'm going to turn that off. And I've got a 10-tick profit target. So I'm not going to make too many changes here. I'm going to apply those. And let's calculate the performance again. Okay, so you see we're doing a little bit better. We've got, we're almost to even. Let's go through some of these trades and see where the problems might be. Okay, so it looks like that one got stopped out. Profit, I left a little bit of profit on the table here. Left a lot of profit on the table here. Left a lot of profit on the table here. Okay, so it looks like the problem might be on the profit side. Okay, so let's make an adjustment there. Stop losses don't seem to be working too badly. Let's play with the profit targets. So, well, right now I'm just running single contracts. Let's see how things play out if I run an additional contract. Where is it? Okay, so initial contracts, 1. So I'm going to have a max position of 2 contracts, because I noticed when I was placing my signals, there were some times where I would get repeat signals. So I'm going to start with 1 contract, but I'm going to top out at 2. Let's see what that does. Aha! Now all of a sudden we are profitable. So nothing to get too excited about. You know, we have $1,500 in profit. We're losing most of that, but we are improving, which is, of course, what we want. So let's make another adjustment. What if we started with 2 contracts? Let's see what that does. So we're going to change our initial position to 2 contracts. Bite the bullet. Nope. So we're back to losing money if we trade 2 contracts. Okay, so why would that be? Are we not? Oh, probably because we are all in, all out on both contracts. So let's put a runner in play. So we're running 2 contracts. Let's split it up. See, right now we're 100%. Let's put a runner in play. So we're going to take profit at 10 ticks. We're going to have a runner in play for the rest. So essentially we're going to have a scalp and then we're going to run out the rest. Nope, that's not working for us either. Now when you're doing these kinds of adjustments, you should try to make little notes of your changes so that you can reverse things that are not working. So I don't think we need two contracts. We did better on a single, but we did better also with a max position. Let us try now to go for a 20 tick target. And we're going to go all in, all out. So I'm going to change this back to 100%. See, this is kind of like a video game, trader's version of a video game. No, we're still hovering around break even, but look, our gross profit has gone up considerably. We've done much better with a gross profit. We're boosting that. However, we're still losing too much, so I've got to fix something on the losing side. Let's try implementing a break-even trigger. I wish Ben had organized these a little different because sometimes it's hard to find. Okay, break-even, we're going to go break-even plus 1 tick, and we're going to put the break-even trigger at, we're running a 20 tick target, let's try it at 15 ticks. No. Let's try it at 10 ticks. No. So let's take a look at a couple of these trades. What's going on here? Okay, so that was a loser. That's fine. This was a winner. This was a winner. So I'm leaving far too much out here. All right, maybe let's try it without a profit target. We'll turn the break even off. And we're not going to have a profit objective. We're just going to run an ATR stop. Okay, well, that's better. Still, the profits are up some more, so that's moving the right direction. The losses are a little bit concerning. Okay, let us use the ATR as a filter for our trade. In other words, if the signal is producing against the ATR, we will not take the trade. So is entry filter, right now that's turned off. Let's turn that on. So in other words, some of these counter trend signals that we've been seeing, like this one here, if it's against the ATR signal, we will actually not take that signal. Let's see what that does. Not much. Still took that losing trade. How come? So the winners are great. The losers, okay, that's a losing trade, that's a losing trade. Let's look at a few more of these. Those are winners. Now, you know, to be fair, the market has been rather sideways of late. Here's before I make another change, look at this. Percentage profitable, only 35%. But still, we're running almost break even. And that has more to say about the money management than anything. Usually, by now, I will get something a little bit more obvious going on. Let's try a break-even trigger again. Well, look at that. Funny thing is the break-even is not working for us. It's stopping us out prematurely. So the market is very whippy. Maybe I should try a bigger stop loss. Okay, so turn the break-even off. Maybe, well, let's try a swing high-low. And I'm going to turn the filter off to start, because again, you want to make one change at a time. You don't want to be making too many changes. Ooh, okay. that's definitely moving the wrong direction. All right, let's see what happens now if I use the last swing as a filter. Nope, didn't do much. Okay, just a couple more changes, then I think we're going to call it a day. So let me just start at the top. I've made a few changes now. I need to keep track. Initial contract, max position 2. Monte Carlo, I'm not worried about that. Trading times are good. Okay, so obviously the trailing stop, the swing high-low is going to be far too liberal. Let's go with, let's reverse it. Let's go with something more aggressive, maybe a parabolic. And we will turn that off for the moment, so it's not going to be a filter. And currently not running any targets for profit. Nope. Okay, so it looks like for the current market conditions, we did best when we were just scalping in and out. And the thing to do is, like I say, you go through your trades now and you analyze them. You say, okay, well, I bought here, I got stopped out there. I bought here, or I sold here, got stopped out there. So you see, I'm getting stopped too early. I'm leaving a lot of open profit behind. This number 2 signal is annoying. Okay, one more change. Let's go back to the ATR because it seemed to work pretty well. And we're not going to use it as a filter. We've got a 3-period ATR, which should be ample. We're not going to run a profit target, or pardon me, a stop. And what if we did a 15-tick target? And we either let the target get hit or the parabolic will take us out. Let's see how that works. Oh, doing better. So the profit is increasing again. It looks like we're capitalizing on some of these trades. Yeah, still getting out a little bit early on some of these, still leaving some money on the table. Oh well, something for you to play with. And as you can see, it's a great tool for back testing. You can really get a lot of information very quickly, and you can try to refine your system so that you can get a better idea as to what kind of stop you should be running, as well as what kind of profit objectives. And I'm going to just do one more thing here before we go. I'm going to throw the profit target out there a bit and see if that doesn't. Let's go to the other extreme. Let's go 40 ticks on the profit target, because there were some pretty big moves out there. Oh, getting better. Okay, so it's somewhere in there. We're capitalizing a little bit more on the profit, and we need to run a slightly looser stop. Yeah, good. Mark says I've owned Profit Finder for a year now, and I haven't really played with it much. It's addictive. When you start playing with it, you're going to find it very satisfying and also addictive to try to get your trade, to try to find good settings that you can duplicate real life. And that's important too. You know, don't be throwing settings on here that you're not going to be able to duplicate in reality. I look at this again, we're only running 34% average win ratio, and yet we're still almost trading at break even. Just amazing, amazing stuff. People think you need a high win ratio to make money. No, you don't. All right, boys and girls, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Monday. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.